have is
She's gonna.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Los Alamos. My name is Andrea Detterman, and I've been a member of this church for a long time. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your image of holy is, and wherever you are on your life's journey, you are all welcome here. If this is your first time with us, we'd like to get to know you. So please sign our guest book in the foyer, where you also can sign up for church announcements. You can speak to Rebecca Howard, where is she, with little purple hair? Rebecca Howard, the chair of the membership committee, or Mike McNaughton, who's out in the foyer, who also serves on our membership committee for more information about our church. If you are watching online, welcome to. Please sign our virtual guest book. There's a link to the virtual guest book in the notes below the video. If you are a parent, you can speak with Terra, Hite, she's right there, our Director of Lifespan Religious Education, about our kid and youth programs. We have lots of worship options in our church for young children. We have our young worshipers space, our intention table. Kids can stay seated with their parents. We have a library, a quiet space in the back, and our nursery is down the hall. Our nursery coordinator is Sarah Hamoud, and she'd be happy to check your kiddos in. But this Sunday, our Reverend is doing something different, so the kids will not leave the service after the time for all ages. If you, at this time, if you would like to light a candle or write a joy or sorrow in our book, please feel free to do so over there. And we will read those words during our candles of community. Again, welcome everyone. We're glad you're with us. Okay. At this time, I would like you all to turn to your neighbor, introduce yourself. If you're not comfortable because COVID's going around of shaking hands, you can wave. So at this time, please turn around and meet your neighbor and say hello. We have masks in the back if you need one. You can stand up and move around. Haven't done this in a while, so that was good. That's okay. Again, welcome.
Hello, good morning.
I did pretty well. What do I not know here?
So yeah, I'll give out the intro to the offering, and if you want to pass the plates around to somebody.
I could do that. Cool. So now, is you now?
Wait, is it on now? It is on now. Okay. Good morning. I'm the Reverend Tina DeYoe. I use she, her pronouns. And we have a bunch of announcements this morning, as you can see. So today is our UU Climate Justice Sunday. And we are having this worship service on the theme. We're also having a workshop this afternoon from 3 to 5 p.m. Even if you didn't register yet, please come and join us. It's going to be a time of outlining, visioning, reimagining the world that we live in, and acknowledging some of the challenging realities and putting solutions to those, and also commitment to action. So we have programming for all ages. Please come. We would love to have a big group of folks. And we do have folks registered already, but even if you didn't register, you are welcome. So come back today at 3 o'clock. Also today, right after the service, if you are a parent of a 4th through 5th grader, and if you are a 4th through 5th grader, you are welcome to stay for our parent-child orientation for our OWL sexuality class that will be starting in the beginning of October. So please go to the assembly room in the back if you are interested in that after the service. Then tomorrow is San Geronimo Feast Day in the Taos Pueblo, and we're taking a field trip, so if you're available to do that, we're gonna leave here from the parking lot at 10:30 in the morning. I'm gonna be going, Terra's gonna be going, other folks are going. So if you'd like to join, talk to me or Terra afterwards, or be here at 10:30 tomorrow morning. Also this week, we're starting the mindful reflection time that myself and John Ambrosiano, who leads our meditation group, we're gonna start that this week on Tuesday, and that's from 4 to 6 p.m. It's a drop-in. You can drop in as you choose from 4 to 4:30. We're gonna have just some reflections, silent meditation music, nature video kind of reflections here. Just some space for mindful reflection, especially as we lead up into the election time. We know that de-stressing can be really good from our media, and so join us then. And at 4:30 to 5:30, there'll be a guided meditation, and then from 5:30 to 6, it'll be socializing. So please come this Tuesday, and that's happening weekly. So you can drop in any of those throughout the month. Then we have our tea time with Rev T and the Caring Committee this Wednesday also from 3 to 4. And next Sunday, we have our committee fair after the service, so join us for that. And there's a UU parent group and teen group from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. next Sunday as well. So please join Terra for that. And then we have blessing bags that we're gonna be making. Blessing bags are things that you can put in your car. So if you're driving in Santa Fe and you have a blessing bag and you see a homeless person or an unhoused person, you can give them this blessing bag. And so there is a box in the fellowship hall that has an area where you can put all of the donations, and there's little sheets of paper that ask that list what we would like to have in our blessing bags. So take a look at that during coffee hour as well. I think that's all. So we gather in worship to find meaning and to live more deeply. Worship creates connections within, among, and beyond us, calling us to be our better selves, calling us to live with wisdom and compassion. So welcome to the Climate Justice Worship Service. Yay, glad you all are here. Give yourselves a round of applause, yay. We're glad that we have entered and come into this place of rejoicing. This morning, we're doing things a little differently. We're joining congregations all over the country for this time of renewal and recommitment at the intersection of the climate crisis and the deep justice commitments of our congregation. Together, we can move past systems and cultures of extraction to usher in a new era with love and justice at the center. We protect what we love. So during this morning's worship, we will be remembering our love for the earth, for the air, for fire, for water. We will be tapping into our love for people, especially those first and most impacted by climate disruption. And we know that's happening in the Carolinas and Tennessee right now, and those other places affected by the Hurricane Helene. We will be celebrating all of creation and recommitting our care and protection. So let us begin with breath and air. So I'd like you to get grounded on the earth and take a deep breath. Notice your breathing as you breathe out. Give thanks for those gathered with you here, and give thanks for the air, always present and supporting life. So let us now silence our cell phones as we listen to our opening music done by Aaron Anderson. Thank you.
Kentucky, where my parents were born. There's a backwards old town that's often remembered so many times that my memories are worn. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lays? Sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is hauled. Sometimes we travel right down the Green River to the abandoned old prison down by Adrian, where the air smelled like snakes. We would shoot with our pistols, but empty pop bottles was all that we'd kill. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lays? I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Peabody's coal train is hauled away. The coal company came with the world's largest shovel, and they tortured the timber and stripped all down. Well, they dug for their coal till the land was forsaken, and they wrote it all down as the progress of man. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lays? Sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is hauled away. let my ashes flow down the green river. Let my soul roll on up to the Rochester town. I'll be halfway to heaven with paradise waiting, just 5 miles away from wherever I am. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the green river where paradise lay. I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is hauled its way.
At this time, we're going to light our chalice. I'm going to call Jane to come light it for us. Thank you. Our words today are from Hymn to the Light. Our light is the light of the sun, keeper of all we love. Our light is the light of the earth, provider of substance. Our light is the light of all living things, life precious like our own. Our light is the light of each of us, bound together in need and hope. Our light is the light of the cosmos, keeper of all we all know. So at this time, I'd like for you to stand up in body or spirit to sing our opening hymn, 1064, Blue Boat Home. Please remain standing for our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this.
Please be seated. Candles have been lit this morning for Jaden Martinez, 10 years old, who is recovering from an appendectomy yesterday. Another prayer for Jaden, who had an appendicitis. Terrin, Reeves' mom, Anne, and family are coming to New Mexico soon. Joys for that, yes. Aaron Anderson's birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, woo! Happy birthday to you. Woo! Well, and thank you for sharing your gifts of music with us the day before your birthday, so thank you. Candles of courage have been lit for Cook Young, who overcomes her fear of public speaking today to be interviewed in our service. Thank you, Cook Young. For the cast of Beowulf and the Bard on a successful run at their show. Woo! Patrick is in our AV booth. He was one of the stars, and Terry Beery and others. Good job, guys. Prayers for Dr. Lyman and her family as they grieve the loss of little Margot, who passed at 3 years of age. We also are lifting up. Tomorrow is Orange Shirt Day, also called National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, or National Day of Remembrance. And it's observed yearly on September 30th in Canada and the United States. And it's a day of memorial to recognize the atrocities and generational impact caused by the systems of Indian, Native, Indigenous residential schools. So we want to lift up Orange Shirt Day as I am wearing this Every Child Matters beautiful beaded necklace that Mimi let me wear for the service. Thank you, Mimi. And Mimi also has a shirt that says Every Child Matters and is orange. So if you want to participate in the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation and this Memorial Day for Indian children and the generational impact that has been caused by the residential schools, please wear that shirt tomorrow, your orange shirt, and educate people, right? It's all about education. And I don't have an orange shirt, so that's why Mimi lent me this. But if you have an orange shirt, please wear it tomorrow to your place of school or work or wherever you may go. Yes. Oh, there's buttons out on the foyer table that says Every Child Matters. So if you want to take a button, please feel free to wear that even tomorrow. And this day was first established as a day of observance and as part of an effort to promote awareness and education of the residential school system and the impact it has had on Indigenous communities for over a century. So we want to remember that day, and especially as we celebrate climate, our Earth today, and are engaging in actions of climate justice. We know that our Indigenous peoples, our native peoples, are at the forefront of protecting our climate and our Mother Earth. So we want to be aware of that as well. Let us hold all of these things that have been spoken, unspoken, those things that are still on our hearts today. Let us hold those in silence now. So this morning, we'll engage in a responsive prayer for the people and the planet. Fear stifles imagination and limits our capacity for relationships that embrace our beautiful and abundant humanity. Fear creates cynical cycles of supremacy and extractive relationships with each other and our planet. Reimagining together is how we overcome this fear. Reimagining together is how we build new relationships and a new era, putting love at the center as well as justice. Today, especially, we put love at the center of our work for climate justice. So please join us this morning in the prayers of the people and the planet. So our congregational response will be, let us reimagine a new era together. Let's repeat that. Let us reimagine a new era together. Beginning right here in our congregation, we pray for ourselves that we open our hearts to be companions, caring for a hurting world and committing to create a world of flourishing. Let us reimagine a new era together.
With reverence for the great web of life, with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We commit to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. So we pray for land, ecosystems, all species, the entire natural world. Let us reimagine a new era together. We pray for justice for local frontline communities who are impacted first, worst, and longest by climate change and who face systemic oppression. Let us reimagine a new era together.
In our reimagining, we gain the capacity to recommit to communities of mutual support, which are the building blocks of an ecosystem of mutual survival. Let us
reimagine a new era together.
We look towards each other, people of faith, good conscience, and spirit, leaning on one another and trusting in the hope we can create together.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
We make right the wrongs of the past, not for ignoring them, but by doing the difficult work of dismantling the oppressive systems and behaviors that feed our illusion of separation. May we live in a way that honors our interdependence and acts in accordance with our interconnection with all people of the planet. Let us imagine
a new era together.
As we begin in local, committed communities of support, we find the strength and courage to widen our circles of concern, resisting hierarchies of value and ideologies of scarcity.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
In our widening and deepening connections, we discover relations in the salt-kissed islands of Kiribati, the solid and frozen ground of Newtok, Alaska, and the life-giving valley of the Rio Guapino.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
With humility and commitment, we acknowledge our own part in so much harm to our relations. Saltwater encroachment, dying permafrost, and the poison refuse of illegal mining.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
May we set down fear. May our courage to face the intersection system of harm lead to the strength to create intersecting practices of love and healing so that all may flourish.
Let us reimagine a new era together. Reimagining together, we build new relationships. We put love at the center of climate justice work, and we commit. Amen.
So we're going to teach you a song. This one, "The Earth is Our Mother." We'll sing it through one time so you can learn the lyrics, and then we invite you to sing along with us the second time we go through it.
kids, that was great. Now if the young and the young in heart would like to join me up at the front. Today, I'm Terra Hite. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Director of Lifespan Religious Education. And today, we're going to hear a book read by the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt. As a child of immigrant from Panama and Chile, and a grandchild of seventh generation Unitarian, she knows the strength that comes from building lasting community at the meeting point of difference. She's been a professor at Star King Unitarian Seminary and is our current and 10th president of the Unitarian Universalist Association. And she's going to read us a story.
As we continue the celebration of our revival together, I am so excited to bring you a story by one of my favorite children's authors, Kobe Yamada. The images are by May Bisum. This story is called, What Do You Do with a Problem? I don't know how it happened, but one day I had a problem. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. I really didn't like having a problem, but it was here. It was here. Why is it here? What does it want? What do you do with a problem? I thought. I wanted it to go away. I shooed it, I scowled at it, I tried ignoring it, but nothing worked. I started to worry about my problem. What if it swallowed me up? What if my problem sneaks up and gets me? What if it gets me? What if it takes away all of my things? I worried a lot. I worried about what would happen. I worried about what could happen. I worried about this, and I worried about that. And the more I worried, the bigger my problem became. I wished it would just disappear. I tried everything I could to hide from it. I even found ways to disguise myself, but it still found me. And the more I avoided my problem, the more I saw it everywhere. I thought about it all the time. I didn't feel good at all. I couldn't take it anymore. This has to stop, I declared. Maybe I was making my problem bigger and scarier than it actually was. After all, my problem hadn't really swallowed me up or attacked me. I realized that I had to face it. So even though I didn't want to, I really didn't want to, even though I was really afraid, I got ready and I tackled my problem. When I got face to face with it, I discovered something. My problem wasn't what I thought it was, and I discovered that it had something beautiful inside. My problem held an opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to learn and grow, to be brave, to do something. It showed me that it was important to look closely because some opportunities only come once. So now I see problems differently. I'm not afraid of them anymore because I know their secret. Every problem has an opportunity for something good. You just have to look for it. And that, my loves, is the end of our story.
What problem are we talking about today? We have a pretty big problem, huh? Climate change. Yeah, climate change. And that's a pretty big problem, right? What is it? Climate change. Oh, you want to say climate change too? How do you think we can be like the kid in the story and find opportunities in this problem?
opportunity to learn that climate change isn't the best thing and try to fix it.
There's try to fix it, learning ways to work together and fix a problem. Are there other ways you can think of? Or can you think of another time that you had a problem and you turned it into an opportunity or found the opportunity in it? Adults can answer too. Think of something. One thing that we're going to do right now is, can you kids help me? I need just a few kids to help me pass out these. Can you take those around? So we have seed papers with UU values pasted on them. Walter, you take one. There we go. Thank you, William. Go ahead and take them around and pass those out, okay? So these are seed papers. They have our UU's values written on them, and they also are seeds. So you can grow. Because we're moving into winter, you might want to plant these inside, or you can save them for the spring. And planting seeds and watching them grow is a magical transformation. It can be really fun to have connection with plants and connect with nature. And one thing during COVID, the COVID isolation, my family and I started a garden. And what's amazing to me is the amount of wildlife that's come into our yard since then. We have so many more birds and butterflies and insects, and a seed can be a start to many great things. So please plant your seeds. Thank you.
If you know the lyrics to this one, you can sing it as well. Well, they paved paradise, put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? Paved paradise and put up a parking lot. They took all the trees and put them in a tree museum, and they charged all the people an arm and a leg just to see them. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They paved paradise and they put up a parking lot. Hey farmer, farmer, put away your DDT now. Give me spots on my apples, but give me the birds and the bees. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? Hey paradise and they put up a parking lot. Late last night I heard the screen door slam, and a big yellow taxi took away my old man. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They paved paradise and they put up a parking lot. They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Steamrolled paradise and put up a parking lot.
Do you have the other? Okay. 4
Hi, you can
on?
hear me.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Now it's on. Okay. So, this morning, like I said, we're doing things a little differently. And instead of me preaching to y'all, because I'm still learning and growing and how I can be a better advocate for our climate and our earth, what better way to hear from somebody who's been doing this for, I don't even know how long. You'll let us know. So this is Young McNaughton, and she has been here in this community 50 years almost? Almost 50 years? Is that on?
Almost 50 years. We joined in 1976.
Woo! So almost 50 years. And as you all know, and some of you know from working with her on climate justice and advocacy and protection of our precious planet, she's been doing a lot in this community and in our own church community here. And so I'm very excited to be interviewing you this morning, and thank you for being willing to overcome your fear of public speaking. Let's give Cook Young a round of applause for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Grace.
No need for that. So I gave her these questions ahead of time so she could prepare, not to interview on the spot, right?
Right.
So, yay. So the first question that I have for you is, how long have you been doing climate justice work, and in what context?
So before I answer, I would like to warn you that some feelings might be invoked by my answers, and I just want you to stay with those feelings and not judge yes or no, good or bad. So do you want me to answer like a politician or
No.
or a high school?
No.
Oh.
Answer from your heart.
Okay. Well, I grew up in post-World War II Malaysia, which was recovering from the aftermath of the Japanese occupation. Food and resources were really scarce. We were taught not to waste anything. I didn't realize then what we were doing in conserving our resources, living frugally, and not being wasteful are later linked to climate justice. We would wear hand-me-downs clothes until they were threadbare, and then use them for rags. We live simply so others can simply live. We were more producers than consumers. So I would say this work began since I was born, and all that was totally unintentional.
Gotcha. Yeah, so beginning since you were born. Thank you. And so, yeah, as you grew up in this context that it was just the way of your life, what also along those lines has contributed to you doing this type of justice and activism work?
So now we are talking about being intentional. Before such catchphrases like climate justice, climate change, zero waste, and net zero were coined, there had always been other forms of injustices and humanitarian issues around the world. I was pretty much insulated from all this when I was young, because as students, we were told that our duties to family and country were simply to study hard, pass exams, and leave politics to the politicians. The grown-ups will take care of everything else. I left Malaysia after I married Mike at the age of 20, and we went to England, where we continued our education. This is going to be a trigger warning. I'd like the children to close their ears, please. One day, as we were eating dinner in our small flat in East London, as usual, we tuned on the BBC News. We didn't have a TV, so we listened to the news on a small portable radio. There was a tornado in Bangladesh. Hundreds of people were killed, and they were buried in shallow graves. The reporter described what he saw. A dog has uncovered a dead body and was eating it. The image was so gruesome, I gagged on my meal. I felt so helpless. My first act of justice was making a donation to Oxfam. It's a non-profit organization based in Oxford that provided humanitarian help in disaster areas. So children, you can listen now. In those days, I wasn't able to do justice myself, but I supported organizations that could do that. Next.
Yeah, so as a kid, and you kind of shared some of this in your intro there, what connection did you have to the earth?
Well, does going barefoot because we couldn't afford shoes count as connection to the earth? My family lived in an urban setting in what's called a shop house. These are rows of identical two-story houses that have storefront and a communal kitchen and dining area in the lower floor with bedrooms upstairs. Ours was a barber shop. It housed 10 families in 10 bedrooms, so it was really crowded. But a few blocks away was a river that ran through the town. It wasn't so much a river, but a very polluted, smelly sewage conduit. On the other side of this conduit was a few acres of land that were left semi-wild, without electricity or running water. That's why you were thankful for toilet last week. We use water from the well, we use kerosene lamp, and we have outhouses. It was also the site for the town's graveyard with 2 residential buildings. Folks who lived there were even poorer than my family. Each building was a community upon itself. One was occupied by 5 Chinese families, while the other was an Indian community. The Chinese section had a small garden where the residents grew vegetables, some fruit trees, and raised chickens and a turkey. That was my connection to the earth for the first 4 years of my life, because I was fostered out to one of these Chinese families. My foster family was matriarchal. There were 3 generations of women in this household: a widowed grandmother, 2 sisters whose husband had left them to work in the big cities to send money home. And between my foster mother and my foster aunt, they had 6 daughters who were all older than me. So this family fostered my early childhood development. They pampered me because I was one source of their income. My biological parents had to work full-time as school teachers, and I was fostered out to this family. Although they were very poor, they had an abundance of love to give me. They told me that the first baby sound I made was to gobble like a turkey. And in Cantonese, they go, Lao Xiong Ham Titit, Lao Ha Yan Yan Yan.
Thank you for sharing those stories. And what other stories from your life growing up, your culture, your family, have influenced the way you have wanted to protect and care for the earth?
Well, Chinese culture, like Jewish culture, combine religions with traditional practices and seasonal celebrations. In many ways, we are an earth-centered culture following the lunar calendar, guided by the cycles of the moon and the sun. We celebrate holidays and holy days based on the season and historical events. Guan Yin, the goddess of mercy, has been a big influence in my life. She taught compassion. Legend has it that she was so moved by mankind's suffering that she left the celestial palace and came down to earth to create rice, the source of life for all our people. In those days, people were starving as the wild plants they depended on had very little small kernels. So Guan Yin began by hand expressing her milk and placed each drop of milk into a single grain, turning each one into rice. She worked hard all night, and when dawn came, she had expressed all her milk, and she started to bleed into the rice. Our rice is Guan Yin's milk. So every now and then, we would find a grain of rice with a red stain on it. That was believed to be her blood. So when I see how the earth has been destroyed by greedy humans, I feel compassion for the multitudes of life forms, not just humans, but all life forms. And I want to save them like Guan Yin did for us humans.
Thank you, yeah. What intersections do you believe climate justice work has with other types of justice work?
So climate crisis, instead of calling climate change, we call climate crisis. They affect people more than rich people, poor people much more than rich people who have the resources to combat it. Well, sea level rising, we could build dikes and levees. Heat waves, we can turn our air conditioner. Polar vortex with extreme cold, we have heating. The people who pollute the least are the ones who suffer the most. This is grossly unjust. There's inequality of wealth and resources that intersects with racism, classism, and ageism. They were all connected.
Yeah, the people who pollute the least are affected the most. Yeah, that stands out for sure. So what has, we know that this work can bring a lot of joy as well, and doing it with others here in our community, and just putting your hands in the earth can bring a lot of joy, I know. So what has been the most rewarding part of doing this work for you, and what has brought you the most joy?
Well, so the rewarding parts are when our friends and family and even total strangers would join me to participate in this work. And when I see some progress, it gives me joy. When I put out a call for help, I typically get a few, maybe just one or two people who respond, but it makes a big difference because you don't feel so lonely in the work. So thank you for those who have helped me here among you.
Thank you, yeah. And I think there's some work days coming up with the grounds committee. Barbara, what are those days?
In 2 weeks.
2 weeks? October 12th, so you can come and put your hands in the earth? Okay. All right, cool, thank you. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And what we know, along with the rewarding parts and the joyful parts of this work, also come challenges. So what has been the most challenging part for you?
So the challenging part is the disappointment that comes with unrealized goals. Maybe I set the bar too high. Maybe my goals were unrealistic. Sometimes it is a lack of communication and misunderstanding between us of what these goals are. There's a disappointment of waiting for someone to do their part before a project can continue forward. There's also this disappointment from a few people taking advantage of our generosity by emptying almost completely, Gaia's pantry and fridge in a short time after they have been fully stocked, instead of sharing with others and making our efforts more worthwhile by reaching a wider clientele. But then I remembered the poem, Do It Anyway, which was attributed to Mother Teresa. Basically, it tells me that in the face of all the challenges that others throw at me, I am to do good anyway, because that's what needs to be done.
Yeah, do it anyway, yes. And what projects, for those who may not know, are you currently involved with right now?
Well, I just got off a 2-year stint with the Environmental Sustainability Board, and it is a very educational time, and it helps me to do some of the following things. Currently, I'm busy with the seed library project. This involves harvesting seeds in my backyard as well as around the church here, processing them and packing them into packets so people can check them out in all 3 locations. We have one in Mesa Public Library, one in the White Rock Branch Library, and one at Peak. So as the Bee City project is winding down, just like all our gardens and all our creatures are getting ready to go into dormancy, the Seed Library project is going into full gear as we launch the Community Seed Drive beginning on October 1st, 2 days from now, right through to the end of February. By then, the Bee City project will go into high gear again. Between these 2, they should keep me occupied year-round. While keeping Gaia's pantry and fridge filled up to help those who are experiencing food insecurity, as well as to reduce food waste, is also a year-round endeavor. I spend about 1/3 of my grocery bills buying supplies for the pantry. I visit local grocery store asking for donations and pick up boxes of past sale date items and vegetable scraps from which I salvage slightly damaged products, clean them, repack them, and put them out for others to take. Then I compose the rest for use in the food forest, both here at church and at home.
Cool. A lot going on that you're doing, yes. So how would you say that your Unitarian Universalist values, faith, influence the work you do as an advocate for climate justice?
Our new second UU principle puts love in the center from where other values spring forth. Justice making is love in action. My Chinese upbringing is centered around making small personal sacrifices for the greater good of the community. Chinese patriotism is not about winning wars against other nations, but it's about making self-sacrifices for the motherland and for the collective good of all. This is sadly missing in most Western traditions, where individualism comes before community. So many people talk eloquently on what needs to be done, but when it comes down to doing the work and that it requires making personal sacrifices, many will shrink back into self-preservation. So I ask myself, if not now, when? If not me, who?
Thank you. And for our last question, as we all are, a lot of us engaged in this work already, some of us more new to it than others, and some of us really wanting to engage more, what suggestions and or advice do you have for people to engage in actions to protect our planet, our blue boat home?
Come to the workshop this afternoon.
Come to the workshop this
that's one
afternoon.
way.
You heard it from her.
So I'll leave you with this quote from Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed individuals can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for sharing your story with us today. As we know, we learn best from stories, right? And so I'm very appreciative for you sharing a bit of yours with us. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Talk to me during coffee hour if any of this confuse you.
Yes, talk to her during coffee hour. You're open to questions and
Sure.
other story sharing. So thank you. And come share your story and your connection to the earth. Yes, as Kuk Young said, today from 3 to 5, if you're able to. And look at small things that we can be doing together, because that's the thing that helps. Yeah, thank you. As we move from the message time and our time with Kuk Young, let us move into this offering time together. And this month, Share the Plate. This is our last Sunday. The offering will be going to the Española Pathways Shelter. And this shelter is one that is located in Española that helps those in the unhoused community. All cash and undesignated funds that are received will go directly to the shelter. And please feel free to use this QR code for the Givelify app on the screen as well. And so can I ask folks to come up and get the baskets? Thank you. And we have a special offertory music video that is going to be shared here in just a second. And this music video is it's by Lila June, who is an indigenous activist, artist, who is from New Mexico. And some of you may have heard of Lila June. And this video, this song, is based on a conversation with Mescalero Apache elder Oliver R. and I'm not going to say his name right, and JD. Lila was asked by the Architectural League of New York to write a song or poem about southern New Mexico water issues. But her people are not from that area. She's from the northern part, so she did not feel right speaking on the issue. Oliver gave his perspective, rooted in traditional Mescalero knowledge and his personal observations. A lot of the lyrics from this song are verbatim his words and his message to all of us about how to re-understand water. We have been told by other elders that we need to change the way the world thinks about food and water if we are to survive and thrive. We don't understand how fragile and precarious our civilization is. 2 days without water, our whole society would start to unravel. With depleted groundwater sources, unclean rivers and streams, and dwindling springs, we are all having to get back to basics and honor just how precious water is. We cannot take her for granted anymore.
He said it's not a song, it's a way of life. It's a forever thing, it's a message. He said you can say that water is life. You can sing it again and again, but will they listen? Are we gonna stand by these words? Are we gonna find a way to change the way we're living, Mother Earth? She feels everything and it hurts. Like the moon, like the body of a woman, she is changing. Can we return to the times when water was alive? When we prayed at her edge and gave thanks for this life? When the water fell from the sky and we drank from her bosom? When the water fell from our eyes and the water fell from our wombs? When it rose up to the surface and we knew every spring? No fear or competition, just a relative to a face. We are people of the sun, we are people of the water. Tro e inaat e sha'en be'inda. We will celebrate our sons, we will celebrate our daughters. Give them ceremony so when the drought comes they'll be ready. Will the next war be for water? All our solutions are part of the problem, can't win war with war. There is more than one creation story. Worlds have died and worlds have been reborn before. When you touch the water, you touch the world. From Taos Peaks to Gulf Streams, the memories they hold. We sell her by the acre foot and treat her as our captive. The rivers are undrinkable while the aquifer's extracted. Our food will need water to grow, but do you have to take it all? We try to hold her and control her as we watch our empire fall. He said it's not a song, it's a way of life. It's a forever thing, it's a message. He said you can say that water is life. You can sing it again and again, but can you live it?
Watching, hoping, praying that this time it becomes pollen, as done by their grandmothers, grandfathers, long ago, when they spoke with animals, their smoke still floating, touching the morning prayers. Grandfathers, grandmothers, sons and daughters, me, us, the mountains and animals, covered with the morning pollen.
Thank you for your generosity this morning, and may these gifts be a blessing to those of the unhoused community in northern New Mexico. So I will invite you now to stand for our closing song, The Fire of Commitment, as we go from this place with these stories and commit to action. So don't let climate anxiety get you down. Let's listen to one another's stories as we did this morning. Let us share those with one another, and then let us commit to action together with love and justice at the center. May it be so. Amen. The way is long. Join hands if you'd like.